Welcome into the non-neutral zone. It's all about football with Brandon, Josh, and producer Gunner.
All right, ladies and germs, welcome in. We're the non-neutral zone. I'm Josh. I'm back with Brandon, of course.
What's up?
And are you doing good? We got
I'm doing
Patty
great, yeah.
here. Yeah, good. Patty, I kind of got ahead of myself there. Patty, we've got Pat Lynch with us. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing fantastic. Thank you guys for having me on.
Oh, yeah, we're glad to have you, man. So Pat is a fellow fantasy football conspirator, poker player, family man. Tell us about it, Pat. How is everything?
Oh, it is fantastic. As you said, fellow fantasy football conspirator. I've been with these guys for over 10 years in our league of record. Throwing
an original gangster.
Over a decade.
Oh, yeah. OG right here.
And we are lucky to have Pat on the pod. I don't want to interrupt you there, Pat, even though I did. I'm going to. We're lucky to have Pat on the pod because between the three of us in the last decade, we have 6 championships between us in our league of record.
Listen to that. Listen to that, people. 6 championships between
the three of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody from MVP League is listening, you guys need to step it up and join the championship party.
Yeah. Bring the heat, Mr. fellas and ladies. Come on.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's
How many of those championships do you have, Pat?
Dose.
2 of them. Yeah. What about you, Josh?
You have those, Brandon?
I have
Brandon have?
Quattro.
Between us three, we have 6.
Between me and Pat, we have 6.
That's also true. I'm just you don't have to say it like that, Josh. I'm on here.
I'm sorry.
I've come in second place a time or 2 or 3 or 4.
Brandon has been in the playoffs like almost every year. I'll give you that. I will give you're a contender.
Yeah, I'm kind of like the Titans. I always make the playoffs but never really making any noise. No one feels real threatened by me.
Always is. Yeah. That's being a little generous, a little recency bias there.
All right, fair enough. Go ahead, Josh. Tell them what we got on the docket for today.
Yeah, so we did a little mock draft together. We had some 4th of July festivities. The three of us, we got together and did a little mock draft on Sleeper, and now we're going to go over those results, kind of highlight some points for you guys, talk about our team, some of the surprises that we saw, not only, as far as being reaches in our opinion or where we thought guys fell, and we either got them or watched them go a couple picks before us when we thought they should have went earlier. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. I thought the results were very interesting, and I thought there was a lot that we took away from it too, as far as learning, building on what we're going to do this offseason going into the fantasy football draft season, because it's upon us. We're in July.
Here we are.
So
to set it up, we're picking in the 8th spot, and we're in a 12-team half-point PPR league.
Yep.
1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a flex. And technically we have a defense, but we picked them in the last round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's irrelevant. And then we can just kick it off right there with that. Take your defense in the last round. There's too much variance from year to year. You'll have somebody reach this year in the 8th, 9th round and take the Patriots. We don't know what that's going to look like. Turnovers for the offense. Turnovers on the offensive side could lead to more points against the defense, and just put them in a bad situation. So we don't know what's going to happen yet. But yeah, that's the advice. Last round defense. But without further adu, I'm ready. You guys ready?
Yep.
Oh, I'm ready.
All right.
Sweet. So first round, every other round we picked at the 8th pick. We started with the 8th pick. What did you guys think was surprising leading up to our pick?
Michael Thomas fell to us. I'm surprised
at number 8.
And a half point scoring. Yeah,
half point scoring. So 7 running backs went off the board right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael Thomas was available, and I think we all went into it thinking we're going to definitely take a running back at 8.
And I was immediately outvoted, but I would have still looked at running back just because of I mean, you saw 7 picks go, and they were all running backs. You already know running back's going to be thin. To me, like, I want to take the next best running back, which would have been either, Joe Mixon, Miles Sanders, one of those guys, maybe even Aaron Jones. I would not have taken Aaron Jones, but I know that if we went running back, he would have been in the conversation.
Yeah. So we ultimately decided at pick 8, we picked Michael Thomas over Joe Mixon. We're the final two that we kind of.
Well, I mean, really, it never got down to a final two. You guys said Michael Thomas, right? And that's the way we went. It's not a bad pick, but it's just we saw over the next couple rounds that maybe that wasn't the best. It was a little bit knee-jerk reaction. And actually, I was looking before we did the show tonight at ADP. Michael Thomas is the third wide receiver going right now.
Wow.
Surprising.
Who's going ahead of him in ADP?
Tyreek Hill and I want to say Adams.
Yeah, Adams. Goodness gracious. I think Michael Thomas is still wide receiver 1. That's wild that he's the third. Yeah.
It's pretty clear for me. He's number 1.
Yeah.
I think the Mahomes, getting his money, I think that's got Tyreek Hill feeling a little bit more secure in people's minds. Just, with that news breaking, not that it changes anything, but I think that maybe that pushed him above him. And we have him as our wide receiver 2, so it's not crazy.
Yeah. So moving on to the second round.
There he is.
Tyreek Hill falls to us at 205. So some interesting picks. Josh Jacobs was actually 1 pick after Michael Thomas. He went ahead in this mock draft. He went ahead of Joe Mixon, Miles Sanders, Aaron Jones, which I thought was
and Devontae Adams.
Which I thought was interesting. But Tyreek Hill falls to us at 205. What'd you guys think about him being the 6th wide receiver off the board?
I mean, we had to take him. Like, we didn't want we needed a running back, but
for the most part, like, we were all pretty quick to say Tyreek's still sitting there. I think we have to take him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a game breaker. He's a game changer. Yeah. But it was surprising to me that he went. You saw Devontae Adams. Well, not necessarily. I think Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, and Michael Thomas. It's kind of like drawing straws. Which guy do you like better? But Chris Godwin, Julio Jones, and DeAndre Hopkins. I'm taking Tyreek Hill over all 3 of them without question.
Easily.
So I thought that was surprising. Do you agree, Pat?
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's like if you can have a Michael Thomas Tyreek Hill stack, I'm okay with whatever running back. You have to stick with it. If you go third, you kind of forced to. I think in normal circumstances you're forced more often than not to go running back next pick, which you'll find out we did not.
Yeah, we didn't have that ability.
We're going to show you how the experts run a draft from the 8th position.
Yeah, I mean,
Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill, incredible to have your top 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, so at the second and third round, we kind of had our hands forced because there was, best player available. It was a big drop off from the wide receiver to the running back position, so you had to take it.
Yeah, you had Kenyon Drake, Austin Eckler, James Conner were your next running backs on the board. Yeah. And Tyreek, you got to take Tyreek Hill over those guys.
Absolutely. A higher ceiling than any one of those guys. And it's not to say that any of those are bad players, but they have a lower floor and a lower ceiling than Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. So we saw Mahomes and Jackson, Lamar, go off the board right after we picked Tyreek Hill. So they drafted him in the second round, and you'll see that we are advocates to wait.
Yeah, and they sandwiched Kenyon Drake there, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. And I got to tell you, if I'm going to go Kenyon Drake, I'll probably go Lamar Jackson over Kenyon Drake. If that's my 2 options, I'm just not I'm not sold that Kenyon Drake's going to have that backfield all to himself. I think they like Edmonds.
Yeah,
and they drafted Eno Benjamin. Mm-hmm. I just think there's other options there for them that they like a lot. So I'm not going Kenyon Drake. I'm probably not going Lamar Jackson either. But if I have that choice to make, I'm probably going to go Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm higher on Drake than you, but I think that's a reasonable argument.
I'm as well. Like I probably still take Drake, but I don't think that's crazy to take Lamar Jackson. Like you're getting that, like, the cheat code at quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely getting that cheat code.
So let's move on to our third round. We definitely got to take a running back as it gets to the third round, and
but we didn't.
We didn't. So we had already stacked Michael Thomas and Tyreek Hill in third round. We we go with Amari Cooper.
And the reason we did, though, is because the pick before Leonard Fournette goes off the board, one pick before we pick. And if Leonard Fournette's there at the 3-8, then I'm pounding the table 100%. Like, I want him over Amari Cooper. I want him over Devin Singletary, Calvin Ridley, any of these yahoos that went after our pick. Like, I think it's a huge tier break after Leonard Fournette. And I actually think it's egregious that Melvin Gordon went before Leonard Fournette as well.
Yes, I co-sign on that, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't necessarily want to go wide receiver again. Like I said, Leonard Fournette was gone, so we had to take the best player available. We didn't want to end up with Devin Singletary or Le'Veon Bell as our RB1 anyway, right?
No.
Yeah, I mean, it felt uneasy at the time. I might say at the end, but looking back, I might have made a different choice. But the upside is there with Amari Cooper, so much more than the guys that were sitting there.
Yeah, and I don't think like the different choices to be made there. I mean, if we go, with Josh Jacobs or Joe Mixon in the first round, and then go Tyreek Hill and Amari Cooper, we're still fine.
Yeah, I like that.
But that's hindsight's 2020. That's why we do the mock drafts. But yeah, so we ended up watching, like I said, we saw Devin Singletary, Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson go off the board. But you were interested in the first running back in the fourth round, right, Brandon?
Yeah, so I would have I like Clyde Edwards, and I think that he'll rise up and probably be a second-round draft pick by the time draft day rolls around. But with the limited offseason, I mean, rookies are dangerous, honestly. I mean, because, who knows how quickly they're going to learn the system, learn to pass block, and get integrated into the offense. So I think it gives Damian Williams a bit of a leg up. So I'm a little uneasy about drafting Clyde Edwards, but I think his upside's off the charts. Yeah, I mean, I wanted him, and I would have taken him, debated taking him over Amari Cooper, but I was not displeased with that. So anyways, we ended up finally getting our running back at 405.
It's a guy that me and Pat are really high on, right, Pat?
Oh, yeah. Todd Gurley, the new addition to the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, there's the knee concerns, but I think, his upside is, easily top 10 running back. If everything falls right, and he maintains his health throughout the season. I mean, there's just so much opportunity on that offense.
Well, all we heard last year was about how they were going to limit his touches, and then they ran him the same amount that they've ran him in years previous. They just didn't get him the receptions.
Right.
And I don't think that's an issue with Matt Ryan and that offense in Atlanta.
I agree. I mean, for sure, better offensive line, better weapons in the – well, I don't know if you say better. I mean, Cooper Kupp and Woods are excellent, but –
yeah.
I mean, he was the number one running back year before last.
Yeah, I know.
Got
I mean,
short memory.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, we just took him in the fourth round. He's 25 years old. He's not
right.
You talked about he's got top 10 upside. I think he has top 5 upside. I think his floor is very low, but I think his ceiling
is RB1.
Yeah, I agree.
Potentially, yeah.
But top 10 is where we have him ranked.
And we're drafting him as a 22nd running back. So I think that we get his knee concerns with the draft pick, but I think that that's a great potential boom pick there in the fourth round.
I don't think we saw his knee be an issue last year, and I'm really not worried.
I'm not as worried as people hype it up to be. I'm not either.
I get the apprehension, but
I mean, I love it because then that means we're going to get a good value.
We get him in the fourth round, yeah.
Right, that's what exactly.
Yeah, I mean, Dalvin Cook currently is saying he's going to hold out, and they took him at the 105.
Right.
I think that's we know that he's currently holding out at 105, and they took him. We don't know that Tiger Gurley's going to have a knee injury, and he went at the 405. Right.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that value.
I love it, and we got the news. I mean, he passed his physical for whatever that's worth, but I mean, he did. So he's looking good to go for the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw 3 more running backs go after we took Todd Gurley. You were noting Raheem Mostert, correct?
Yeah,
Brandon?
yeah. So Raheem. This is interesting because they have 412, and this was before the news broke that he's requested a trade. I think that's a little bit high just based on his
everything.
Well, yeah, like based on his
collective work.
Yeah. Thank you.
His body of work is garbage.
His body of work. That's the word I was looking for.
He's 28 years old.
His half a season that he really crushed it at.
Yeah. I was going to say though, I think like what you mentioned a while ago, people do have short-term memories, but that can be for good and bad. Like all they
Yeah.
remember is his strong finish of the last season.
He helped a lot of people win titles last year, and so
Right.
they're riding that pony, and that's not the pony I want to ride.
I don't want,
Uh,
I don't want on that pony.
Yeah, we weren't sad to see him go in the fourth round. He wasn't going to be on our team.
And
So-
the pick that directly followed it, Robert Woods. I'd much rather have Robert Woods, especially on that team where they took Christian McCaffrey at the 101. Your running back situation's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
But I digress there. We can move along. Raheem Mostert, terrible pick.
All right, so we head to 508, and we're just tripling, quadrupling down in this wide receiver heavy draft, and we take Odell Beckham.
And we had to, even though like what really hurt was watching DJ Moore go the pick before.
DJ Moore going at 507.
It did. I think we're all high on. Are you, Brandon?
Yeah, I've grown on. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like after doing even more in-depth research. I
think he goes up a little bit in the ADP.
Yeah,
but
he's got to
I think he'll
rise. There's
rise.
no way he stays in the middle of the fifth round. There's no way.
So of those three wide receivers, I think we all say DJ Moore, but we had Juju Smith-Schuster, DJ Moore, and Odell Beckham go together. We agree on DJ Moore of that group, correct?
I think DJ Moore is the safest of the three.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So between Odell Beckham and Juju, this is my question: which of those guys do you prefer?
I probably prefer Juju.
I agree.
If I'm honest, I think that with Big Ben back, they're going to throw the ball all over the place, and he's the dude there. I mean, I know he missed all last season, but
yeah,
he's the guy. And Odell's in an offense that has a lot of mouths to feed, and
the Steelers were atrocious. I mean, they were atrocious.
But Odell, he dyed his hair blonde again. Does that not?
Well,
oh wow! Then
in that case,
yeah.
I mean, here we go, 2,000 yards. Book it.
Book it.
Watch out! Practice field goal net. Here he comes.
So we saw a couple wide receivers go. I mean, I'm sorry, quarterbacks go off the board in the fifth round. Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson followed Odell, and then it gets back to us at 6:05, and we go Darius Geis, and we had a bit of a debate right here between DeAndre Swift and Darius Geis. We felt like we needed to go running back for sure. And Josh is higher on DeAndre Swift than he is on Darius Geis. Is that correct?
I don't know if it's that I'm higher. I just think he is got when our other running back is Todd Gurley. I have concerns about having another bad set of knees, especially when those knees belong to Darius Geis. They have been rarely attached to his body since he joined the NFL, and it's to me like it's a concern when you pair him with Todd Gurley because they're two super talented running backs. And like I previously said, I'm not super concerned about Todd Gurley's knees, but it is still a concern at some level. And so I think when you're looking to pair your RB2, it's just something to consider.
Yeah, it is. And where did you fall on this, Pat? Because I feel like you fell on the Darius Geis side, and that's why we ended up picking.
I mean, if you're just looking at Swift and Geis, I think for sure Geis has the higher ceiling. I don't disagree with Josh that Swift is super talented and has maybe has a good opportunity. But I think you even mentioned Josh. Kerryon Johnson's there if he's healthy to start the season.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nothing guaranteed for Swift.
My actual preference was Marlon Mack over both of them, just because
better offensive line.
Yeah, better offensive line. I think he's going to still get work even with Jonathan Taylor there, and especially early in the season, like we talked about with rookies and the COVID experience that's going on. Having a steeper learning curve. I think they're going to lean on Marlon Mack a little bit early in the season, and then look to Jonathan Taylor maybe a quarter of the way through.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think he could help you get some wins in those first 5, 6, 7
Yeah,
weeks.
and then you trade him.
Yeah.
You trade him. And so for me, I would have went away from both of those guys and went with Marlon Mack if it was just my team.
So
but you got
Darius Geis and his knees ended up on our team. So
yeah,
we head to the 7th round, and we have 4 wide receivers and 2 running backs. I think we all agreed that we need to be looking at running backs. And we had a pretty strong debate between Cam Akers and Ronald Jones.
Yep,
because radio silence. Because Pat is extra. I think you're extremely high on Ronald Jones. Is that right?
I am. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, Josh pointed out some good faults, but I mean,
yeah. I think that
he has patterns. He's not anything special so far. He did okay last year. He broke, I think, 1,000 yards. But I think with the
fast.
offense, he's fast. I think if he's made any work to try and improve. I know there's been talk of him adding weight, some strength training to add some muscle. I don't know what if that's going to help, but if he works on improving his pass blocking and can get the trust of Bruce Arians, and has Tom Brady next to him in the backfield, and
I have some level of concern though, like what makes him special is his speed, and then he's gained weight, and I have concerns that it may eliminate some of that speed. So if you don't have your speed and then you still can't pass block, bro, there's the door.
Yeah.
That's a bad combo.
Yeah, I mean, you're at that point, you're not in good shape.
Right.
So,
I mean, I don't disagree. Like I said, I agree. There's a lot of downside, but I think the upside is just as high as the downside is low.
And at the end of the day, it didn't matter because Brandon just took who he wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So
we got Cam Akers.
we decided to take Cam Akers.
We decided.
Yeah.
And the certainty of him and the Rams offense. And at the end of the day, the offensive line has been terrible. And Cam Akers comes in with the experience of working with an awful offensive line coming from Florida State.
Good point.
It's a big difference on playing the ACC and playing in the NFL.
Fair, but the offensive line sucks at both places. So I think the upside's there. This was a bit of a glitch in the system where
Brandon clicked the name that he wanted.
I accidentally clicked the name that I wanted, and we're there.
And said whoopsie.
In hindsight, I wouldn't have minded having J.K. Dobbins. I would have liked to seen J.K. Dobbins there.
Yeah.
I don't hate that. Yeah.
And seasonal, I mean, I think that he's going to get a lot of opportunity. And
I think that's tough as our RB3, though, because you want a player that's going to be able to do something for you early in the season.
Yeah.
And especially with Darius Guys and Todd Gurley, like week one could be it. And all of a sudden you're scurrying the waiver wire looking for a back, and they're not there. So like J.K. Dobbins, it may be midseason before he really gets into form.
I think he's going to win some people some fantasy championships.
Yeah, I mean, I like having him on a roster, but I think that in our situation, we couldn't really go with J.K. Dobbins. But
we never really considered him even.
Yeah, I think his name got brought up, but I think we ended up being between Ronald Jones and Cam Akers at that point. So
yeah.
So we head to the 8th round, and at 8:05 we take Jordan Howard.
Sure did, and I like Jordan Howard a lot. Just he's a steady player. He's not explosive by any means, but he does what the coaches like. He holds on to the football. He plays strong between the tackles. Yeah. He can catch enough that they can use him, and he's a good pass protector. So he's not going to get anybody hurt, and Fitz magical of him, I believe. So,
yeah, I think that's a good value in the middle 8th round.
Yeah, and he gives us some security there.
That's what I was going to say. He's safe.
We had a lot of risk at the running back position up to that point. Minus Todd Gurley, like I'm not going to put him under the risk category, especially in the 4th round. It's not like we took him in the 2nd.
And one pick after Jordan Howard was Tevin Coleman, and with the news of
he's going to be moving up boards.
How does that make you guys feel about Tevin Coleman?
I was higher on Tevin Coleman than Mostert anyway.
Agreed. I loved Coleman because he's going so late, even before the news about Mostert wanting out.
And he's a better player.
Yeah, and he's worked, with that coach, and
he's got a larger body of work. Yeah.
I just think I think it's silly what's been going on with Raheem Mostert. Like, I think that it's wild. I get it. I get why people are doing it, but I think it's short-sighted. Like we said, where they're remembering that last few games last year where he was just put money in people's pockets at the end of the year. But not this guy. I'm not getting on that train.
No.
I'll ride the Tevin Cole train, but I'm not.
I'm getting on that Tevin Coleman pony, not that Raheem Mostert pony.
Giddy up.
Yeah.
So anything noteworthy coming out of that 8th round there?
We did talk about going Tevin Coleman there, right? Briefly, and we just kind of.
I think we may have mentioned it, but
we decided we needed the safety of Jordan Howard.
Yeah, Jordan Howard just felt safer at the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's. I do want to highlight the 3 wide receivers that immediately followed those 2 picks because it's like the the all hype train wide receiver trio there.
Yeah.
You got Darius Slayton, Deontay Johnson, and Christian Kirk going back to back to back in that order. And I would almost flip that order. I think I would go Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Darius Slayton. But
I agree with your flip.
Yeah, Slayton I think, is the least. In my book.
I think Christian Kirk could go 2 rounds earlier and would be great value in the 6th round. Like compared to some of the guys.
He stops being a value in the 6th round. I mean, you're getting him at value at best.
I was going to say, looking at the guys in the 6th, I don't know that I agree with that, but I think he has upside. I think Hopkins is obviously going to draw the top.
You got Marquise Brown going at the 6'6", and he's the wide receiver 1 on his team.
Yeah, but on a different offense, like on an offense that doesn't want to throw the ball a lot. So I think Christian Kirk is safer than Marquise.
He's the primary target. I mean, I think that we've talked about this 100 times, but the wide receiver 2 targets are going to be split between 3 guys in Arizona, and then the running backs are going to get a little bit as well.
But kind of back to your point of these 3 guys are on the hype sleeper whatever train you want to call it. I don't know the sleepers or the breakout.
They're hype train 100%. Everybody wants them. They're the new hotness.
So
I'm honestly not like none of them really blow my skirt up.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having them on my team. I'll buy into the hype. What about you, Pat?
Yeah, I agree. 8th round for sure. I mean,
even the 7th round I think is fine. Like into the 7th, but look at the 7th round. You got Cortland Sutton that goes. Yeah, the alpha on his team, like
Michael Gallup. I know you're high on him, Brendan, or you were last year.
Yeah, I still like him.
Yeah,
I was kind of dropping on him, but Mark a few weeks ago gave me a lot of data to hype Michael Gallup back to me, so I'm back on the Gallup train.
Yeah. And you can't get. I mean, look, you got Stephon Diggs, AJ Green, Terry McLaurin, Devontae Parker in the 6th round.
Yeah,
you take Kirk over any of those guys?
Yeah, I'm definitely
maybe AJ Green and Stephon Diggs.
Yeah,
which are the first 2 taken.
I'm taking Kirk over Devontae Parker.
Dude, you're a wild man.
Devontae, I disagree on that one.
Yeah,
Parker was like the wide receiver 7 last year.
Puff pass, bro. Don't keep puffing.
Yeah, you don't know who's going to be throwing Devontae Parker the ball. I mean, are they
going to be either Fitzpatrick or Tua? I mean, I don't hate either of those options.
Yeah, I don't either. And regardless, I think they'll still be throwing plenty. I mean, they may have made some improvements on defense.
Like if Kyler gets hurt, who's throwing the ball to Kirk? Because Kyler, he's got there's a chance he gets hurt. The style play that he has, and he's small.
Sure.
Bottom line, though, I don't disagree. I like Christian Kirk a lot. I'm not saying I don't.
I don't like him better than Mecole Hardman, who won the 9th round. But.
Yeah, so let's move to the 9th round. Mecole goes off the board at 905, which I think is a tremendous value. We didn't need that. We didn't need him because we had Tyreek, and we didn't necessarily want to double up there.
We didn't have a chance to take him.
Right. I mean, he went before us, but
Tom Brady went at the 9-7. Let's all just point and laugh at that guy.
Yeah. So we ended up drafting Latavius Murray at 908.
Yep. Latavius Murray, the RB1 in New Orleans. No, I mean, he is the 1B. There's 1A, 1B situation in New Orleans. He's the 1B. Yeah. He's going to get plenty of goal line work. He's a hammer compared to Kamara. And if Kamara gets hurt again, then
Latavius Murray has world's loads of potential.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best handcuffs, and not including already standalone value.
Right. I think he has standalone value, but he is probably the top handcuff.
Yeah.
Just because we've seen him perform.
Kamara is the top handcuff, but
he's being drafted like quite a handcuff. That's a high price. Yeah. So we take him there. We see
at another question though. Tom Brady went the pick before Latavius Murray, and then we saw Daniel Jones go. You go Daniel Jones over Tom Brady, correct? Given the rushing upside that we've seen,
I'm probably not taking either one of them, but given forced to choose, I would take Daniel Jones over Tom Brady.
Yes, I would as well.
Okay, just clearing that up.
I just want to be clear. I'm not drafting either one of them in the 9th.
But Matt Stafford went after both of those, and I think I would take Matt Stafford before both.
You just nailed it, Patty. I love Matt Stafford. He's if his back is squared away, man. He can still throw the ball. He's only 30, right? 31?
Yeah, he's still a young quarterback. I mean, he's maybe the middle of his career. He's at the height.
Yeah.
So we see CeeDee Lamb's the first rookie wide receiver to go off the board at the 9-10. And so when the 10-5 comes around, we got to get the next rookie wide receiver off the board. And we go ahead and get the burners because we got Tyreek already. And we get Henry Ruggs.
Yep.
That was you, Josh. Like
we made. Yeah, I mean, well, just looking at our wide receiver core, we don't need safety. Let's take a guy that can take the top off the defense each and every week. Like we may have a week where we just need a burner. Like maybe we're down, in the projections, and we don't think we have a chance unless we hit a home run. Well, Henry Ruggs is your guy.
Yeah.
And like we said with the COVID stuff, rookies are going to have a learning curve, whatever. Henry Ruggs they're going to get the ball in his hands on screens and on go routes. How much is there to know? Outrun that guy.
Yeah.
Run fast.
And unless
John
he gets
Gruden's going to want to get him out there.
I mean, he could have the COVID and still be faster than 90% of the people in the NFL.
Yeah.
Stab himself in the leg and still be faster.
He's a fast man.
Yes, exactly. He's so fast. And he's my fourth favorite rookie wide receiver of this class. But for our team, he makes the most sense.
Yeah.
So we saw the first defenses come off the board in the 10th round, and we'll just briefly touch on that. Don't draft a defense in the 10th round if you want to be competitive in your league.
And don't be the guy that takes Tyler Higbee or Hayden Hurst or, maybe if Jared Cook in the 10th round, that's a good value. But Tyler Higbee, it's just the same conversation that we had about Raheem Mostert.
Yeah.
We saw Higbee do it for a quarter of the season, and he won some people some games, and now they're all on the hype train. But the other tight end there in L.A., remind me of his name.
I was thinking about
Gerald Everett.
Yeah,
Gerald Everett, correct.
He went undrafted.
Thanks, Pat.
Yeah.
So not just that he went undrafted, but when Gerald Everett was on the field, Tyler Higbee's numbers were nowhere near as good, even after his breakout. So if they trot out that 11 personnel and run two tight end sets like they're saying that they're going to, Tyler Higbee's numbers are not going to be as good. Hayden Hurst is an unknown in Atlanta. Jared Cook scored an ungodly touchdown rate last year. So for me, I'm passing on the tight ends in the 10th round.
Agreed.
But if you miss on the top 5, then I'm waiting.
Yeah, which we did. So in the next round at 11:08, we kind of get some running back depth and a handcuff with what we believe has some standalone value.
A little lottery ticket. That's what we got.
Yeah. So with Chase Edmonds,
get that $10 scratch off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we saw his potential when he got an opportunity last year, but then he couldn't stay healthier, and then once he was healthy, they already had Kenyon Drake rolling, right?
Yeah, he's just a touch squeeze, but he put up a 40-point game, right? Or was it a 30-point game? Whatever it was, 30 or 40-point game before he got injured.
Yeah.
Absolute monster. That's what scares me about Kenyon Drake. But
was that the Giants game last year?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Was it like raining and it was really wet? I think. Or am I imagining that?
You remember it better than I do, Patty.
Yeah, I remember it was the Giants game. I don't remember what the weather was.
Yeah.
I had Kyler Murray, and I played him over Aaron Rodgers when he played the Raiders last year. And if you'll remember, Rodgers laid like a 55-point game against the Raiders. So.
Yeah, didn't they all? So Chase, no, they didn't all lay a 50-point game. But anyways, Chase Edmonds at the 11:08, and we had some conversation there. You looked at Mike Williams, and we looked at Zach Moss, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Am I remembering that correctly? We essentially, as you already know, we landed on Chase Edmonds. But just to reiterate, Pat and I are not that high on Mike Williams this year. Just with Tyrod Taylor,
the offense, it's just a lot of concern.
Yeah. And I do like certain aspects that I'm still high on Keenan Allen because of the way that Tyrod played in that system in Buffalo. Yeah. But I don't think that Mike Williams suits that mold.
Yeah. So we head to the 12th round, and Antonio Gibson goes at 12:03. Had he lasted till 12:05, that's most certainly who we would have drafted for running back depth.
Been another little whoopsie situation on the button.
Butterfingers.
Especially since we had Darius Geis. We need his handcuff, Antonio Gibson there, but
I don't believe he's the handcuff.
But Gibson wasn't available, so we didn't have to make that decision. So we finally, in the 12th round, drafted.
Before we took him though, Sammy Watkins went at the 12-4, and I thought that was interesting because his upside's huge. I mean,
Yeah.
It is.
he's not done it yet in his career, but we just saw Devontae Parker had the fifth year breakout. So
It's possible.
sky's the limit, baby.
What he had 3 touchdown week 1 last year or something.
He sure did
Yeah,
against Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think that's what
on
it
a
was.
lot of people's benches.
Yeah, he was. He was.
So,
A
so
lot of people cashed in on that too, be able to trade him for a ransom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
then
didn't do
nothing.
anything. Yeah.
Squat.
Congratulations if that was you. You traded
So
him.
we finally get our tight end in 12th round. This is Josh's guy. Gesicki was available in the 12th round, which is like a proof that just wait, guys. Don't get in a hurry. Just wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys that drafted in the 10th round and ended up with Hayden Hurst
Or Jared
like,
Cook.
They're gonna be sick when Mike Gesicki is scoring
Yeah.
3 touchdowns in week 1.
Didn't sell high on him.
Ooh, bold prediction. Yeah.
I don't know who he plays, but
Yeah, I felt like that was a great value pick, and really kind of rewarded for waiting. I mean, like to wait and still get Gesicki, we didn't have to go with Jonnu or Ebron or Hawkinson. Like we can go with Gesicki, who proved it a little bit last year, but has an incredibly high ceiling.
yeah, and it's his 3rd year. Usually takes them 3 years to break out as tight ends with all the stuff they have to learn in the offense. And and you saw his snap count go up last year after it seemed like he grasped it. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about him.
I am too. I like that pick.
Yeah.
We head to the 13th round, and this was Pat's guy. A few times in the draft, Pat was trying to get us to take a New York Jet, and Josh
kind
and
of
I-
weird.
Yeah, Josh and I are a little bit gun shy about the Jets. But for
Adam
some
Gase
reason,
is what makes me gun shy.
yeah. But for some reason, Pat just wants him a piece of that offense, and so we took Rashad Perryman
Can't help myself.
to get us a little more speed because of
Yeah.
our situation at wide receiver, right? And that kind of ultimately what decided it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
just
just the
depth.
upside.
Yeah, and just he's got upside there with Robbie Anderson gone, and I mean Darnold's a capable quarterback. I mean, you forget he missed all those games. He was kissing somebody catching mono last year.
The middle school disease. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people kind of forget, and I mean, of course, the Jets were just also atrocious through like the middle of the season because of that with him out and those backup quarterbacks they were rotating in and out. But I think he's definitely got the upside, that speed. We saw him be successful in the last half of last season. I think when Godwin and Evans were banged up in Tampa Bay. So yeah, I like the upside. I mean, in the 13th round.
So one thing that Pat and I talked about after the draft, leading up to our pick here, just go back a few picks. Deshaun Jackson and Jalen Reagor went back-to-back at 13-3 and 13-4. And we kind of discussed how we liked Reagor better there, especially now. So we talked about that before his anti-Semitic comments.
Yeah, that was actually before, I promise.
Yeah. So it was before that, but obviously now we take Jalen Reagor with the uncertainty of what's going to happen with Deshaun Jackson there in the Eagles.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts? Like if nothing happens, Deshaun Jackson and Jalen Reagor, who do you prefer there?
I like Jalen Reagor because Deshaun Jackson just
can't.
I feel like
field.
Yeah, that's it, man. Like and like you might get a 0 every week, man. You just like, man, I hope he plays
you
more.
You could
than
also get 50.
Sure, but you get a lot closer to 0 than you are 50. So I think it's Jalen Reagor, not even close.
He scored 2. He had 140 and 2, I think, in week 1 last year, and then I don't think he played another game.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah.
He hung it up.
So in our 14th and 15th rounds,
I just want to one last thing on that Deshaun Jackson week 1 last year. So that was against me, and I had Tyreek Hill who went out and led to the Sammy Watkins blow up in week 1. So I got curb stomped by a guy that played 1 game, went out, never played another game the rest of the year. My player goes out. Sammy Watkins goes bananas. But anyways, sorry. Just wanted to
throw it out there. Just let it all out, man.
Remind everybody, I got curb stomped last year in week 1.
Oh.
It's like 190 to 110 or something. It was gruesome. Thanks a lot, Albert.
So we're waiting. We waited till the 14th round to get our quarterback, and we get Gardner Minshew in the 14th round. I love this pick. Love the value here.
Yeah.
And I'd take him over a lot of quarterbacks that were drafted in the 9th round. I like him better than Daniel Jones. I mean, I
definitely take him over the Tampa Bay defense, who went the pick before.
Right.
That's an easy one for me too.
Yeah. but they needed a defense there. So I'd
So
like it just proves that
they'd already taken Dak Prescott and Daniel Jones.
Yeah, right. But we had to pick. We could have picked Gardner Minshew, Drew Lock, Cam Newton, Ryan Tannehill. Like we had all kinds of options in the 14th round. So like, what's the rush, guys?
Yeah.
Be patient.
We really weighed between Tannehill and Minshew, though, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think those
that?
were the primary guys we were talking about.
Yeah, and either one of them would have been fine at that pick.
Yeah.
I know you were kind of excited about Drew Lock initially when we first started the quarterback talk there because he was available and ended up going 5 picks later. But I think we agree, Pat, right, that like, we haven't really seen him do enough yet to roll him out week 1. Feel confident?
Yeah, for sure. You're saying Drew Lock?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's still a young guy. He's still trying, working on improving in that offense. He's got the new weapon.
I mean, he's got a ton of swagger.
Yeah. I mean,
so is Gardner Minshew.
Right. I mean, it'll just take like a big step forward for him to I guess to be a decent play this year.
We've just seen Gardner do it. Yeah, they give him all kinds of weapons.
They gave him everything in the world to make it happen. So if it doesn't happen for Drew Lock, it ain't happening.
He's not going to be out there. After this year if he can't get it going.
Yeah. So I mean, and he doesn't have. Well, I mean, we'll see what Melvin Gordon does for him, but he doesn't have Leonard Fournette in that backfield, giving him the opportunities, the easy opportunities that Minshew will have.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So then we
capped her off,
took our defense in the 15th round. We ended up with Indianapolis's defense, which is as good a defense as most. So again, like, guys, don't rush. No rush. There's no reason to get antsy on your defense. Be patient, my friends.
2 interesting picks in that round, though, with Brandon Ayuk and Darrington Evans. I wouldn't have thought they would be there at the middle end of the 15th round. I would have thought that at the very last pick of the draft, Paris Campbell. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of value this year. It seems like where some players that either they're rookies or maybe they disappointed a little bit last year due to injuries in Paris Campbell's case. So some guys that we may think should be drafted a little bit earlier that aren't going to. So don't get too antsy.
Look at that number. Starting running back on the Washington Redskins or Adrian Peterson went at 15.
Exactly right.
That's insane value in 15th round.
At the very least, he's the handcuff.
Right.
And one other interesting player that I wanted to note was Justin Jefferson in the 12th round, the last pick of the 12th round. A lot of upside there, a lot of touchdown upside.
Yeah, I think so. He's one of my favorite rookie wide receivers in terms of being safe. I think he's going to be a target monster from Kirk Cousins. I think he'll fill in Stephon Diggs' role very nicely.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wanted to talk about, Pat, that we missed, maybe we didn't hit on and you wanted to?
No, I mean, we did, you touched on my Jets guys like Jameson Crowder in the 11th round. We just missed. I was kind of
we're gonna see Pat here in a couple weeks. He's gonna be wearing
I'm gonna be loaded with my Jets.
He's gonna have a Jets jersey in mono.
Yeah.
And
no, like we mentioned earlier, but like we went so wide receiver heavy the first 3 rounds. But I think in round 3, where we took Amari Cooper, I don't love Lev Bell or even David Johnson. I like the upside of Clyde Edwards, but I think even any of those 3 guys would have made me feel a lot better about our running back core if we had snagged one of those, maybe over Amari Cooper in the 3rd, and still had Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill, filling out our wide receiver core.
Well, we talked about during the draft at the 3-8. You brought up Todd Gurley then, and I said I think he'll make it back to us.
Yeah, he did.
So, we were able to take best available perceived value there with Amari Cooper, and I hold true to that 1-8 pick.
Well, that's what I was going to say. To kind of wrap it up, I think the big lesson here is that just be careful. If you're going wide receiver early, be very careful. Very careful.
Somebody's a slippery slope.
Yes, somebody's going to have to draft Michael Thomas in the 1st round. Or, some wide receivers are going to get drafted in the 1st round. And we're just saying, be careful.
And I think if I was sitting at the 112, I would have double clicked on Michael Thomas and Tyreek Hill. But I mean, I just can't see. I can't see passing on those 3 running backs for our wide receiver in the first round when we have so long to wait to get back and we don't know what's going to be available at running back.
I'd like to try. I'd like to trade Michael Thomas for Joe Mixon. I
think so too.
Based on our roster,
any one of those 3, but Joe Mixon would be my pick.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, so you want to swap the 3rd pick. I want to swap the 1st pick. Brandon wants to swap the 1st pick. The lesson learned is we knew we needed to go running back a little bit earlier than what we did. But I think if we could have took Joe Mixon, Tyreek Hill, Amari Cooper, and then came back with Todd Gurley, we'd be feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, I agree. That, or like I said, I mean, either one of those, or getting, Clyde Edwards and Todd Gurley and Michael Thomas, Tyreek felt better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'd love that, wouldn't you, Brandon, with Clyde Edwards there if we would took him in the 3rd?
Yeah. I mean, I would have been a fan.
Yeah.
And it could hit. It's a high upside play, but it could prove to be a bust.
And right there, like you see, it was 3 picks apart, so it could have easily flipped between Todd Gurley and Clyde Edwards, and we end up with Clyde Edwards instead of Todd Gurley in the 4th.
Yeah.
But I would take Todd Gurley over Clyde Edwards.
He's probably honestly, I think he's safer even with his knees.
There's nobody else there.
Yeah. That's why he's safer. Yeah. In my opinion. We've seen other guys do it in Kansas City. Damian Williams was fine. I mean, when he's healthy, he was.
But what we have to remember is when everybody right now is thinking about the Kareem Hunt and how he blew up his rookie year in Kansas City. What we have to remember is it took a Spencer Ware injury 2 weeks before the season started to propel him into that role. We don't know what would have happened had Spencer Ware been healthy. Kareem Hunt might still be in Kansas City and sitting, just waiting his turn. He might have just started last year. So we don't know.
Yeah. That's a good point. Well, I think that about wraps it up. I want to, again, say thank you to Pat for joining us.
Thank you, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're honored to have you. We enjoy your insight and appreciate you sharing some of your knowledge with I appreciate you sharing your knowledge with me. I don't know about Josh. He's got more knowledge than I do, so I need to fill my brain with some of your winning.
Oh, yeah, always happy. Love to come on again. Yeah, bring it back.
Yeah, absolutely. You will be back in a few weeks.
Yeah,
for sure.
Good.
We got you on the docket.
Look forward.
We'd love to
it.
have you on more past that as well.
Yeah, of course.
But, let us know. Let us know in the comments or in the replies on Twitter or on Facebook. Just let us know, how. What you thought of our draft, what you think that we could have done better, or what you think. We do want to apologize to the audience as well, though, for having a late episode. The holiday, we had time with family, we enjoyed it. We hope you had a great 4th, but we had to schedule it a little bit differently due to all that. Yep. So, without any further ado, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe wherever you listen and don't fall into the neutral zone.